Could the time be stopped, please, so that yes, we are going to interrogate the figures that were used here to attempt to mislead this court. I'll begin by asking the officer to play the slide number 6. That slide that contains results, when I looked at it and my other co-petitioners, we found that the maths did not add up. And that for us was a smoking gun, because figures don't lie. So, and I would also ask the court to realize that the comments we made about that particular result have not been challenged. That when you add the totals for the individual parties, you don't get the total ascribed. But the total ascribed is available in the workings and the affidavits of the members of the commission, which means we are dealing with fiction. I would request that you go to slide number slide number 5. And the Honorable Judge asked, how are these things transmitting? So when you look at the fact that at 17 hours, we had 21,481,652 voters or returns which had been made, and we factor into when we try to calculate the average number per voting station, we were told we are given 46,299 polling stations. If you divide 22,120,458 by 46,299, you arrive at an average figure of 478, which is not very far from when you take 65% of 700, which is the maximum number you can have in a polling station, you end up with 455. So when you now come and using the 478, which is the average we have had, and divide 21,481,652, you get 44,962. From paragraph 29 of Mr. Chebukati's replying affidavit, the figure he gives is that 45,994 kits reported. Now, from this, you already see that if the kits were 46,299 and 45,994 had reported, you are only left with 305 kits. These are kits which had connected, so the question of saying that these kits were looking for connection is not there. These kits were connected and they discharged their mandate. And you have been told here that there were some kits in Eldoret were pinging the same, we are sending results from Eldoret, I don't know from wherever, one kit being used. So at that time, you get that the 305 kits, which may not have had network, if you multiply that figure by the maximum number of votes available, you will find that the 700, if you multiply that, you'll get a figure of about 213,500 votes. That's the maximum that could be transmitted, not 2 million votes. And also, if you went by working of 1,337 kits, then the maximum amount you could get is 638,806. So the KIMS kits that transmitted are not these ones that reported at that time. But the data, the fact that they held so much data was mined. So somebody could transmit remotely, mining the data that was already reported in these polling stations. And that's how the for what happens, for the workings on slide number 2, where you can clearly see that if we use the 21,481,652 as the baseline and the 12,065,803 as the baseline, you find these workings coming out, and you can see that 1.6 million votes are being submitted between 17 hours and 2045, and on and on. But most important, even if we are to buy the idea that they were connecting, you have got 508,647 ballots on page 3, slide 3, which transmitted after a period of 3 hours and 45 minutes. So those particular transmissions of 508,647 are a figure that's very curious, because if you deduct the tally for Elders from this figure, you hit almost the exact figure that Mr. Willis, Land Council Willis, has presented to this court, coming from the KPMG audit, that there was that number of voters, there was a number of ghost voters equivalent to that one. When we go to the other thing that supports our position, there was a question of what was the denominator used for voter turnout. I will invite you to look at at the petition at page 41. There is a letter, a press statement signed by Mr. Chebukati, saying that he used the National Voter Register to calculate, and if I may just read it quickly to the court. So page 41 is handwritten 41. It says, paragraph 2, at around 4 p.m., 12,069,803 registered voters out of 12,065,803 voters out of 22,120,458 had cast their vote. This equates to 56.17% of voter turnout.
How much do you need? Because we have that slide.
5 minutes, just 5 minutes.
Could we give you 2 minutes to finish?
Yes, please. Here that you will refer to the slides. So, when I look at that, you will find that there's no basis for claiming that the figure that claiming that the Kim's kits were used as the denominator. It's not possible, and it's not there. Also, I would like this court to take note of how the percentages are being played with. That slide number 10. You will find that whereas the chairman is reported 12,065,803 people voted, who voted represented 56.17 of the total registered voters of 22 that. At paragraph 26 of the replying affidavit, Mr. Sunkuli, using the same number of voters, 12,065,803, but as reported by the chairman, but again as a different number as a denominator, he arrives at the same percentage. So there you can see how they can play with numbers by changing the denominators and arriving at magical figures. So my members of the Honorable Court, my prayer is that my submissions are that these figures are cooked, they were worked backwards to achieve a certain figure, but fortunately on the Form 34C, the smoking gun is seen. And since figures don't lie, and if the math doesn't add up, then this court should quash the results. We were told about military precision. Military precision is the ability to shoot a bullet with a bullet. That's how a missile downs another missile. That is not what we are saying here. There's no military precision in these figures.